Welcome to the Conversation to Change podcast hosted by Asia Inc. Forum, where we're shaping the future of Brunei and Asia one conversation at a time. If you've been watching and listening to our podcast, don't forget to follow and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Asia Inc. Forum BN, and also connect with us. We're on Instagram, LinkedIn, and also on Facebook at Asia Inc. Forum. Mental health isn't just a personal issue, it's a societal one. And when it comes to men, the silence can be deafening. In Brunei and across Asia, we're seeing a shift. More men are speaking up, seeking help, and redefining what strength looks like. But stigma still lingers. So today, we're asking, what does healing look like for men? What needs to change, and how do we get there together? We are joined by three changemakers who are leading this conversation in their powerful ways. I'd like to welcome Pg Azlan, founder of Shahindra. I'd like to also welcome Dr. Munir Metassan, who is resident doctor at Care Clinic, Family and Occupational Physician, as well as that Muhammad Zulfan, youth leader and founder of Jiwa Senja. Welcome to the podcast, gentlemen.
Hello.
If I can go for a quick round of introductions, if everybody can go around and just introduce themselves and what is it that you do?
Okay, my name is Dr. Munir. I'm actually the medical director for Care Medical Clinic. I'm also, as you mentioned today, a family physician and also an occupational health doctor. So, of course, in my line of job, I do see a lot of patients, not just from the general patients that I see, but also from the occupational health side, which is much more important for me when I look into the issue of mental health for me actually. Yeah, anyway, we can talk about that some more later.
Yeah.
We've got a doctor in the house.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, hi, so my name is Zulfan. I'm the founder of Jiwa. So, Jiwa Senja was basically, as the moderator said, is our project initiative. So, Jiwa is basically our organization where we do a lot of peer support. So, my background has a lot to do with a lot of biological sciences and a lot of research. But what I would define myself as, and as my team, is mostly we're just peer supporters of the community. So we're happy to share all the findings that we've had with our peer support, especially in men, women of all ages, and it's going to be fun.
And recently you also won a youth award.
Alhamdulillah, yes.
Alhamdulillah. And Pg Azlan.
So I'm Pg Azlan Shah, Pg Ahmad. I'm the founder and creative director of Shahindra. So Shahindra is a heritage-focused label, started 7 years ago, and we've been around since. We have reached to the shores of Singapore and Malaysia at the moment. So far, we do have a good following, and I consider myself as a mental health advocate, purely due to personal experiences, and I do feel that it is something that is worth to share, good to share, and it would benefit like a lot of people. So this is what I do through spearheading the Cahaya project. So it focuses on uplifting our society through good work such as mental health talks and many other things such as like cultural education, which will come into play sometime in the near future.
Thank you so much for sharing with me, Pg Azlan. I think to begin, and let's start with a very obvious question. In a very small society like ours, everybody knows each other, and I commend you gentlemen for being here. I hear so many stories, so many complaints from friends and family. What is wrong with Bruneian men? Sakit. Oh, so sorry. But what is it that I've been hearing so much in regards to male mental health and what have been the problems that have been arising from your encounters?
Okay. Anyone wants to
If
start?
you would like to begin.
Okay. Well, I think I have to say maybe just shift slightly from the focus of just mental health in general now, where I think there is a huge shift in terms of acceptance. Definitely globally, it's always been, I would say, in the last 5 years, I think, even more so. But in Brunei, and when I look at the younger generation, there's definitely a new wave of acceptance of even almost like putting their hands up very quickly that I think I have a problem. Okay, and that is also affecting the other generations. Even with here, we were just talking earlier that I'm coming from different generation to Zulfan. Okay, but we're all talking about the same thing now. So when you say about like the shift in, or you were saying about men, what's wrong with men? So again, when we say what's wrong with men, I think it's also we have to look into the different generations of men as well, from whether it's like Gen Z or now Gen Alpha, but a lot of now where people are putting up their hands, the younger generation, is also now like we're in a mix of where you have the different generations too, and people are just trying to understand each other as well, and also understand our role as men, and also learning that yes, we also have a problem. So it is quite an interesting time. It's almost like maybe where we are, where Brunei is right now is where maybe Australia or other countries are probably 5-10 years ago. I don't know whether Zulfan wants to chime in on that. Which is I think which is maybe apa, I would say in terms of confusing to the for men, we can say maybe. Because as a certain generation, like for me, I'm just explaining my own experience. I see the role of a man ni based to what my experience are when I saw my dad. Again, even a different generation. So what the dad's supposed to be, a man supposed to be a role model, supposed to be fearless, almost like the hero. They will be providers for the family. They are the one young everybody depend on. And I never seen my dad complain, and then he will provide for the family. So when I see that, okay, I also reflect that I need to be like that. So now with everything going on, every time when I go through any stress, then sometimes we reflect back, okay, but my dad was this, my dad was that, and I should be more like that. So from my generation, we start to just, okay, I have to follow what my dad was, but we're already questioning. But then life is already different. So we are all I would say we were in a slightly transition stage, and then the younger generation we now with like, where everyone's globally connected, they're already seeing that what's happening in Australia or UK or US, that all people are talking about mental health, and they're looking at, well, but my dad went through this, and it's like, hey, but this is different from where everybody's going. So there's a lot of like my chum, they're all questioning themselves, and they're all a bit confused where they stand.
Coming from your experience as a doctor, then, like, what are the most common mental health challenges you see amongst men in Brunei?
Well, in terms of the challenges, definitely one of the things is we don't own up to it, or at least we don't see that we have a problem. I think that's one of the main issues, and you can even say even women are also the same, but even more so men. And the problem again because of that expectation. But what I see actually when I see patients, it's coming out as different symptoms. Okay, so as a family doctor, maybe they're coming out with like issues of health, whether it's headaches, difficult to concentrate at work, again as a occupational doctor, or sometimes completely different like rage, being problematic at the workplace. Sometimes complaints from consult review because complaints from seniors or managers that this employee is causing trouble. When we look down into it, it's actually a lot of frustrations, and these are frustrations that build up that has to come out somewhere, but it's not coming out as I think I have burnout or I think I have an issue here. It's coming out as something completely different. I think I just hit the microphone, and that's where as doctors if we're not sensitive to this, we don't have this as in the back of our mind that okay, he's coming in with this symptom, but is it really this symptom? Is it something else going on?
Yeah, you're thinking more biologically or physiologically
Yes.
rather than
You can't really see when people hurt, right? As you mentioned.
Yeah.
Pg Azlan, you've also had your fair share. You're such an avid supporter of mental health and wellness as well. Can you share with us your personal story of how this came about?
Right. I've always liked to tell this story because it changes me as a person from a non-believer to a believer of mental health support. Previously, back in 2017, then my mother passed away in 2014. So 3 years after, you know, so basically when my mom passed away, it was quite tough for me, because if you are very close to, you know, your mother or your father, that loss really gives you an impact that
That's true.
I think words can't describe how difficult it can be for a person, you know, unless you go through it yourself, which I wouldn't wish it to anyone. But you know, but that was like 2014. But 4 years after, my dad passed away. So now, you know, I'm very close to both my mom and my father. So the fact that you lost both, it really changes you, in terms of, I mean, one, I didn't know this back then, but there's a sense of, this very difficult, worrying feeling, when my mom passed away. I'm like, okay, next is my dad. I'm like thinking about that every single day, which is why, like, every single day I'm like, you know, I'll take photos with my dad every single chance that I can get, and then I'll keep it in my album, because I didn't do that with my mom. So I realized that I didn't have many photos of me and my mom. So you know what, with my father, I'm not gonna let that chance slip away. So I do that. So I think through enough, like 2018, so he passed away. So you know, you have this unexplainable grief, that you experience. I think so. I lived like that for the next, after 2014, for 7 years. I was just, you know, like, suppressing. I actually had anxiety attacks, panic attacks, depression, things that I didn't know the labels to, but I thought I was just, you know. And I forgot to mention that, back then I was still in the police force. So being a police officer in a regimental organization, I guess you tend to, for lack of better word, suck it up, right?
Yeah.
That's true.
You suppress it, essentially. So when you, because you know, you wanna get back on the saddle and just like move on with life, right? But you're experiencing all these, like, actually symptoms of grief. So one day, I think I had, like a very strong panic attack that I didn't understand it myself. Like, what's this?
What's going
But
on?
I don't think I've ever felt this way, because, well, sometimes, you know, you do go on stage and, you know, you do, you know, presentations, or you sing on stage, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
But I had this, like, a very different level of nervousness that I've never had before, but it really crushes me at that time. So I'm like, hey, this is, you know, this is very bad, and then I don't think I can suppress it anymore. And I remember I cried to myself. I said to myself, I need help. As simple as that. But that is the moment that when you cried, because you couldn't be strong anymore.
Yes.
You just couldn't be strong anymore, and you know, for the longest of time, you tried to be one. So one day you just, I think gave up and seek help. So I did. So you know, so obviously I went to a mental health support. So a professional, obviously. But I came in with a very high skepticism, lah.
Of course,
Right?
yeah. Of course.
Because I think back then, I'm like, I've tried everything that I could. I thought to myself, I don't think any therapist have went through what I went through. I don't
For a
think.
doctor.
I mean, like, I don't think they can, like, grasp the level of this level of situation, lah. So I'm like, it's okay, I'll just try saja. So I just went in, and then, you know, try to have an open mind, and try to receive the help. So as we talk, I only had 3 sessions. So I realized that throughout these 3 sessions, that I realized that from grief, I guess you can relate grief to any other stresses lah. Huh? Grief is like one of the stresses. You actually experience anxiety and depression, and it's apparently it was really bad. Well, the therapist shared with me as simple as negative mental habits, academically researched lah. Huh? Negative mental habits. So there are 11 of them. So she passed it to me. Okay, out of these 11, how many do you think that you are practicing at the moment in your head? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8. I actually did 10 out of 11.
Oh.
Because you keep because one of it, you keep remembering the past. You think it's your fault. You suppress. You compare yourself to others. You think that you can do it better. A lot of things. So it's like actually 10 out of 11. So to know that you are actually practicing negative mental habits 10 out of 11, no wonder it gives this kind of impact on your life, on how you behave, on how you conduct your life. So we work at it. So we work with I work with the therapist, and I think true enough with all the I don't know whether they like with the diagnosis and with the prescribed actions that can be taken to counter such negative mental habits, by virtue as simple as exercise, thinking this way, thinking that way, which is countering the negative aspect. So actually at the end of the 3rd session, I actually felt like I finished running a marathon. I finally stopped and breathed and had a relief. And literally, that's how I felt. And I said to myself, I should have gone for help
Earlier.
3 years ago or 4 years ago. It wouldn't have taken 7 years. So, but things happen for a reason.
Yeah. Why do you think then was one of the factors that you didn't speak up or you didn't want to approach a therapist earlier?
I just didn't know.
You just didn't.
I am just not aware of. I do hear people talk about mental health and all that. For us, I'm like, we're like, hey, you're supposed to be strong. We're in the regimental organization. This is supposed to be nothing. We go through training, right?
Yeah.
So obviously, all that is supposed to be suppressed. All that is supposed to be just be strong about it.
Yeah, if I can move you into another world then, coming from your experience as well, how different is it dealing with male mental health, especially when you're in uniform? As uniform personnel, all around the world, not just in Brunei, you're expected to follow orders, you have to suck it up. How do we then as a society, how do we then help our men? Even Zulfan, if you would like to come in on this one.
I'm just listening to it.
Okay. So as when I was still in the police force, I think it is not a popular subject to talk about. So if you do come across issues, problems, you see it as issues and problems only. There's nothing to do with mental health. It's like you have a problem, you got to sort it out. And us as leaders, because I used to hold 10 people under me, 30, 40 at one point. There is almost close to 100. So you wanna really focus on mental health. It's difficult because you've got a job to do, you've got operations to do, you've got there's no way that you're gonna give chance to other people to, hey, are you okay? You wanna
how you're feeling
how
today?
you're feeling.
Yeah.
As much as I know there's a lot of, including myself, with my team back then, we do have those one-on-ones or check-ins or meetings or a group meetings that allows you to check with everyone, are you okay and all that. And if there's family issues or I don't know, marital issues or whatever issues that they're going through. You know, we try to help. But to the extent of I have this number for a therapist or a counselor. Go see them. It will help you. We don't have that back then.
Yeah.
At least
That's
some
the
sort of
unfortunate.
other
I mean, that's the thing, right? I mean, if you are well aware and you see the impact, you know the impact, you would, highly likely you will just give that number and you know what, try.
Yeah.
Maybe because as a boss or as a leader, I think it's difficult for you to macam play the comforting role because your main objective, your first objective, is to your work kan.
Used to run
Get
a
the
team
job
like
done.
a sports team.
Yeah.
Get the job
Yeah,
done.
yeah. You have objectives to
Yeah.
fulfill.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Zulfan, if you'd like to share as well.
So
Coming from your experience, I think working with Jiwa Senja, if you can.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
First of all, like Azlan, I can see why you go creating something like Shah Indra. So I'm a big fan, because I've used that also for my wedding,
right,
Shah
thank
Indra.
you, thank you.
And
Oh,
I,
thank you.
I really love the idea, so okay, you have 50% off.
Yeah, probably. That can happen after this.
So I can see why you would create something like that. For also, I think, I don't know, do you subconsciously realize that you're trying to make men look good as well, Jia? That's kind of indirectly helping the orang punya own
To
mental health.
therapy, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
like because here's the thing. So my area, okay, so
Retail therapy.
Yeah.
retail therapy, and it works. Okay,
Yeah,
it
it
works.
does, yeah.
Like making helping, especially men or even women as well, semua, helping them show up into the world really does help, especially with mental health. So with what Jiwa does, our project Jiwa Senja. So Jiwa Senja ni, our organization is Jiwa. The project is Jiwa Senja. Jiwa Senja is a group of initiatives. So ia bukan satu saja. Okay. So number one is peer support. Number two is we have digital and also physical mental health resources. Okay. And then the resources ni yan dia boleh. It cannot be just from TikTok. Okay. Because
course.
what Jiwa does is we do not do awareness anymore. Okay. Because awareness has been done ever since COVID. Okay. COVID itu everyone knew sudah what is mental health about. But it comes to a point where it backfired, where young man, okay, probably can even be my little brother, walks up to you and says, "Bang, I think I'm clinically depressed." Okay, and this happened.
Put
Right?
my
And he cakap,
glasses
"How do
on,
you
huh?"
know? How do you know? Oh, because on the TikTok, it says like if I have this, 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 and this, it means I'm clinically depressed. So before you go into, you see a mental health professional, this is exactly what we're trying to challenge, because ever since the awareness was done, ada something backfired. Now everyone was using these type of terms. Aku ada OCD aku depressed
I need a mental health day today.
Yeah, catu. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that now our main priority has always been about education.
That's true.
Education and is different from awareness. So awareness is knowing something exists. Education is knowing what it is, knowing what it isn't. Kan? I get with peer support. What I can tell, okay, going to the previous question, what is wrong with men in Brunei? For me, I've never actually had to ask that question, because for me, I grew up. First of all, I didn't grow up in Brunei. Okay, so I grew up in Saudi, because my father, he was working abroad. So I never knew these types of questions were a thing. Okay, it started off when. So where did this whole project come into existence? So when I was in, I think it was 9th grade. It was an American school, the Saudi sana. There was a person, I've posted about this very publicly on our website. Her name, I'll omit. Her name, we'll just call her Sarah. Okay, so Sarah Ane, she was part of our group of friends, especially time di sana. She was the life of the party, they said. She was the extrovert. She would be the one that would go out and then help people. After I went back into Brunei, because I had to do A-levels, kan? I had to do, IB. Because if I stayed di sana, I won't be able to do scholarship, kan? Because you need BM as well. So then when I had to go back, 6 months after I left it, we've heard that she took her own life. Okay? So I was really, really, really shocked pasal barang-barang ni. Like, why would you take your own life? Kan? That was the question that I've asked myself. Like, how could someone like Sarah that was so close to us, right, could just take her own life just like that? So that was the beginning of my journey. Like, I wanted to understand this type of thing. even when I was doing my degree physiology, so it's mostly to do with biological sciences, brain apa. But it was one particular module that really struck with me. It was on antidepressants and the medical medicine. So how can a medicine like a pill can affect your mood? So then I was talking to the professors and I was talking to the psychologists and I like, tell me about these things in it, because like, what is can this depression in it? Because depression, it's not just in your head, but something happens to your body. Something happens to your body physically, in your blood, like something happens. So that's what I want. That's what I wanted to do my research on. Okay, my research was on like what is this science of this antidepressant? And then I found out that a lot of it, antidepressants don't come in a pill saja. Antidepressants can also be a friend. Okay, antidepressants can also be having that look good, right?
Yeah.
Going to see your friends, right? Mengopi, as people say di Brunei, kan, is also an antidepressant. Okay, there's many types of antidepressants that we don't, especially that word antidepressant pun orang ubat lah, nado ko mau something like that.
Yeah, or another small highs like in life.
Yeah,
Like
those small highs, right? Even I'm not sure as men, having your laundry just done and like macam sudah berlipat apa semua, like having new laundry pun just like wah, okay, siap sudah. I fixed my car, sudah servicing, paid for this. Those little things, especially for men, that not just I personally experience, even the peer support can really do a lot of good for the orang punya mental health. What I found in the peer support when Pg Azlan said that no one would understand, that is the number one thing I've heard from all men that I've had in my peer support. No one would understand apa I'm going through, right? I think I was talking to another friend of mine. So let's talk about MIB. Okay, like, because I think when my friend he's doing his PhD on the modern implications of MIB, kan, people tend to macam, is it really relevant kan misalnya? When he's told me about the histories in it is so relevant to what we are doing now. How? Okay, so first off, let's see, our generation, okay, let's take us all, we're one team.
Yeah.
Take our datuk that were our great, okay, not grandparents, great grandparents. If we were to have a competition to name every one of our neighbors, who would win?
Great grandparents.
Kami, how many neighbors do you know? Left, right?
Left, right.
But if I ask my datu or even my nini, siringan niya atu awang hajian
village.
niya, the whole village.
You know everybody.
You know everybody.
Tutong still does that.
Yeah.
Right now, there's more fences than there are community dinners in Brunei.
That's true.
So actually, this idea of peer support, it was never new. It was actually in Brunei punya heritage and history dari dulu sudah. Okay, that's what my friend is telling us. So then I'm asking, so then what happened? Where did all this idea of jangan malukan keluarga, right? Kalau lelaki ni boleh menangisnya.
Yeah.
But during those times,
It takes a village to raise a child or a person or you know.
even if a man was having health issues, the ketua kampung would know
Would go
first.
down and help. Yeah.
Ni ada masalah ni, kesian ni bah. With him they had equity. Okay, meaning one person kalau ia ada masalah macam makanan, the ketua kampung will make sure this person has food. If one person had an issue, maybe he was a paraplegic, macam sakit kaki apa, he would always have to be given, I don't know, someone yang macam boleh tolong lah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Assistant.
do we have that now? And I don't say this for the men saja. I say this for everyone. else. So
It's more
now,
of a societal issue.
then what is going on? Okay, so then when I was going through the research when we were finally invaded, okay, new values and mindsets came in. Two particular mindsets that are mixed with our mindset masane. Satu was individualism.
Yeah, just about to say.
Okay, and the second one was respectability. So aku mau orang respect aku. During that time, if one person was given the opportunity to pursue knowledge, he or she was shared as a communal celebration. Alhamdulillah, you're given this. But that person would actually had more responsibility to add more value to the community. But now, I'm not saying that every one of masani achievements is not penting. But what I'm saying is, what are the intentions with the achievements right now? Is it really because of to help the community, or is it so that I can be better than this other person? And let's see how this relates to men. When the individualism was rampant, sudah, our grandparents and parents, they inherited two types of values. Satu was the communal, and then also the individualism. So they had this misconception of satu spiritual and mental illness. That's why kadang-kadang when we talk about mental illness, atunya kau berdosa atunya. Kan?
Jangan fikir
Pasal
bukan-bukan.
jangan fikir bukan-bukan. Atunya pasal berzikir saja.
Oh, that's
Right?
true.
Sembayang saja.
Yeah, we were just
Right?
about to say this one. Yeah.
And here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
All the spirituality is penting, definitely, in Brunei. Mental health is one thing, but there was never this stigma of saying that, kalau aninya bermaksud you are spiritually deficient. Before, it was just seen as if you are struggling, we will support you. Simple. But now, the man has taken on that individualism mindset upon themselves, thinking as if that is my culture. Dia boleh nangis. Jangan naman nangis ani. Right? And if I were to add on kenapa with Pg Azlan, how is it that we can have to suck it up? I believe that in life you do have to balance. There is a time that you have to suck it up. Kan? But there also needs to be a time where you can actually don't suck it up and just let it all out. Kan? Why is there a time? Is there a time that we have to mention orang punya aib? Ada when you have to mention to the police?
Yes, that's true.
Is there a time that you have to mention all of your bad habits that you don't want people to know? When you see a doctor.
That is true, yeah.
But why is there not a time that you can share your struggles with people? Because of that mindset of individualism and also that, it's better to compare than to connect. Okay? And I find that, and now with these support groups, you would not believe the kinds of changes that happened.
Can you share with us?
Okay, I'll give you one particular one. So this one, we've just released our confidentiality format. So of course we cannot mention names, we cannot mention macam. But one person in particular who is a core member of Jiwa Sudah, he is very open about this. Hakim Iskandar, he is actually a stage 4 cancer survivor. When he was going to my first ever support group, dia diam. Cakapnya, I'm just going through something apa semua, right? And then 5 support groups down the line, baru dia finally admitnya, guys, I'm actually a cancer patient. He was not a survivor that time though. He was a patient. And then when he mentioned something about the support group itu, there is no stigma di sana. Stigma is created when there's a particular topic that is in the room, ada gajah di dalam satu bilik, right? Elephant in the room, and we don't want to talk about it. But our support groups itu, it literally takes the root out of the stigma tu.
And it determines how open you can be as well
in
conversation.
And then with Hakim now, he's already giving support groups and also talks to cancer patients.
That's
so that other people can have the same hope as him. Now he is a survivor, he is in remission, he's fully recovered now. He has made something of himself. Doesn't he have the right to complain? What has he done to get cancer? But he said, if he went down that road, he would have never done what he's doing now. He's a legal, by the way. Okay, so he's like he does law. That's why he was the one that created kami punya confidentiality. He's adding value because of the support. I do believe that the therapist is important, but before that, there needs to be that community first. So satu, they can have early detection. Early detection of because now what we're doing with the government, with Health Promotion Center, kenapa whenever I hear these complaints of kenapa government dah buat ni, kenapa psychologists ni, it's because if you see behind the scenes, when we've seen, they are so busy.
Of course.
They are so busy. One person has to see how many people. And then shouldn't psychologists also have their own mental health support? Who are taking care of them? So then, what we're doing with the peer support is, we want people, what we found is that a lot of the people that went to the support groups, they don't need the mental health support from a professional. What does that mean? So now we can prevent the overload of the healthcare system. Pasal, when it comes to people who need the crisis, they still have to wait in line. And then it comes when someone who doesn't have a mental health issue and crisis, dorang pula yang dapat dulu. So then the person? Yeah.
So I was just going to open this question again as well to Dr. Munir, because both of you guys are in this space. What is that one thing then? How do we make mental health for men more accessible and then as well as that less intimidating for men?
Okay.
What are the steps?
Well, right now, again, I think just following the dice, it was very compelling and the thought that you just had too, with regarding support group, and it's almost like we're kind of like working backwards or looking or reflecting from what has happened decades or even hundreds years ago, and how it actually gave it looks like there's a better support network and also acceptance. I mean, one of my questions I actually wanted to ask you is, like, you mentioned a term of tadi, jangan malukan keluarga. There's actually peribahasa yang biar putih mata jangan, biar putih tulang jangan putih mata. Okay. Did that actually stem from individualism, or is because of being in such an open network where pretty much all your aib will be known because it is that open, because it's also expected because of the communal ideology itu. So would that have been stemmed out from that level of, and that's probably where individualism comes in, because people want to have their walls and barriers. I'm not sharing everything. I mean,
Back to the question,
just reflecting back on that. Tapi then when you going back to your question, is how to make it much more accessible. I have to say it is. I would say first thing is acceptance, and I think we are touching on many different areas. Pulang one on this awareness and education. I think that's something a very good point as well. Where I think when we talk about the different generations, where the younger generation are very open to almost self-diagnosing themselves because of so much information is out there, or this awareness. And also I think previously we had a brief conversation about when we actually go out and do awareness talks to companies, to our clients, a lot of the employees actually come back to us and say, well, we already know, I I have a problem. My question is, how do I get help? And it's a way. It's sometimes like, okay, wow, how do you self-diagnose? We'll have patients that come in, and I've seen like even O-level students coming to the clinic with elder cousins driving them. Parents don't know about it, and it's like, I think I have this disorder. Yes, I think the root cause is because people are not educated on what is the correct diagnosis or not. They're just looking, they're aware that there's something, but they all think, I think I have this and I have that. So I think there should be more emphasis on the education part. But even saying that, then you would argue that then the younger generation will be very much aware of this, but acceptance and awareness is still not throughout. If we say Brunei as a whole, it's still not there yet. Okay, so one example, you've spoken to HPC, Ministry of Health, and you're working with them. Police, you have MINDEF. We all say mental health. If you ask anybody now, at every level, at every age group, I would say, is mental health as important as physical health? They will say yes, probably. 2025, they'll probably say yes. Yeah. But then, like in any organization right now, if you come to a doctor to get, you're unwell, and it's emotional mental health issue. Say you're burnt out, you're just stressed, and you tell the doctor, I need a day off. I really can't take it today. I'm not going to be productive. I need an MC. And what do I write? Stress.
Yeah.
Stress. Okay. Would that MC will be accepted by the employer?
I don't know, and
which is proves, a call to action to all employees.
Which proves my point about acceptance. We say we accept mental health.
We do.
And where can we get help? How can we get help? But when we want even to talk about it, when it comes down to it, even a simple piece of paper where a doctor has said, yep, this guy has a non-physical problem, a mental health issue. A very morbid and acute, like batuk sisma can be a very simple thing. Just burnt out and can't go to work today. Okay. Even if you argue in every aspect, like, will he be productive? Of course not. He will be as non-productive as orang sakit belakang. But we are very easy to accept. We'll give an MC. Yep, I'll accept your MC for sakit belakang. But because you have stress, nope, I'm not gonna accept that MC because you should still be productive. But then mentally they're not there. So when we talk about acceptance, and do we break it down to different generations? Because those in the management are of a different generation. Like I'm considered now, me and Azlan, we're probably the same age group.
Millennials, we are. Millennials.
Yeah,
I'm
we're probably in the management side, and we're the ones who saying, okay, why is this guy taking a day off today from the doctor? Okay, so I would say acceptance is one, and acceptance across the board. And then after acceptance then I think goes well with this year's punya, I think, global agenda for mental health.
Yeah.
Awareness it's not awareness, it's the access to services. And I think there's something young I wanted to actually also touch on, Pg Azlan. When you decided you need the help, what was the whole process of you actually finding the service, knowing that the service is for one, because you're coming from where you don't even accept that you have a problem, you don't even believe that that's a problem, but to know where to go,
Yeah.
to know, so what was the process of that. So even having now the type of different service, and I think that's where when we had that mental health awareness talk, mental health awareness talk, Masha Indra, a lot of the questions coming up from our audience was where to find help. And there's something that I think we try to bring to the fore, and alhamdulillah, like being here next to Zulfan as well, where these are different these are services that we can actually create an access to. We just need to have a platform of how, and I think how mental health right now in terms of because the services are there. I only know about Zulfan today. Imagine that, and I'm in the medical field, and I'm seeing patients who need help. But even for me as a doctor in the private sector, I'm also sieving through where can I send my patients?
I think you're calling us to do another forum on this, so I think I need a bigger forum after this. For this one.
It does feel like you're in the jungle and you don't know what's behind the bushes. You're looking for something. What you're looking for is just behind there. It's just you don't know where to go, where to find. And we have service providers who wants to give out the service, but they also need that platform where people who are looking for the service can find the service, and the people who wants to give the service can find the patient or can find the individuals who actually need the service.
And I hope after this podcast everybody will be better aware of your available opportunities in terms of your Jiwa Senja, your facilities at Care Clinic, and also the Cahaya project as well. Just to sort of steer away from this question, I kind of wanted to focus on the actual person going through mental health issues. So when you're going through grief, anxiety, or loss, how do you help young men, or whichever men in general, see that what they're going through is just in the now, it's just a transition, and it's not a permanent thing, and there's light at the at the end of the tunnel. I know it's very bleak. It's sometimes very bleak. It's very difficult, but what kind of advice can you give to, and what can you do?
I think that's an interesting question. I think I would say that I think not just personal experience, but also from the talks that I had with friends and families. It is easy to say that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. It is easy to say. For a person that is still going through the tunnel, it's quite difficult to accept that. Unless you've been in the tunnel and you've been out of the tunnel and you go into another tunnel and then you go out another tunnel, then you will tend to believe that. So for those who hasn't been on the other side of the tunnel, it's very difficult to accept. So I think I would say for myself, and I think a lot of people out there that has been in the tunnel and then been out there and in it again. So that's where you reach a certain emotional maturity levels, that you tend to now accept the fact that all these are. If I could just shift this back to, I think, more on an Islamic perspective, that we live on this world temporarily, and we are supposed to live life with tests. If we live life without tests, then that's not life. Life is supposed to be filled with that. So it is quite it's very simple, but sebenarnya if you were to go through things, that is very huge, actually. For you to accept that means that you've gone over a very huge hump in life, and it allows you a sort of a comfort, actually, that you are able to emotionally regulate yourself and prepare yourself for any other issues down the road. But because that you have the experience and you're able to emotionally regulate, you are more prepared, you are more stable. I don't know if that answers your question, but yeah, I guess that's my take on that. I guess for those who hasn't gone through, apa ni, if someone hasn't seen the light of the end of the tunnel, yes, I would say, as you just mentioned, there is indeed light at the end of the tunnel. You just have to keep on. If you crawl, keep on crawling. If you are walking, keep on walking. If you are running, keep on running. You will reach it. Inshallah, you will reach it. I believe that for every single person in Brunei or in this world.
That's funny, because Jiwa Senja tu is actually because of, so Jiwa means soul, twilight means, Senja means the twilight. It's actually because when you mentioned that it was dark up at end of the tunnel, the reason why we called the project Jiwa Senja tu is actually because we wanted people to understand your mental illnesses in it is actually a period of transition. It's not an area of permanent darkness. That's why twilight, it's the area where the sun sets. So it's like this beginning that, okay, the sun is still there, but now the darkness needs to come, and then it will come again macam itu. So I think, I don't know, just this, memang mendalami lah what Nina Nazlan tu cakap. Like, we really don't have to explain much. It's just that spirituality itu does have a role in this. Satu is that you need to understand yang almost everything, good and bad, they're all temporary. But what is permanent is how you're going to respond to that. Right? Are you going to respond to that with, I don't need to, like, life is just pain, then life will be pain, right? But if life is just test, with a test there's a pass and fail macam itu, right? But not all tests are created equal. Ada yang barat, ada yang but it's subjective for everyone.
But when you fail, or do you win or do you not win? Actually, when you fail, you actually learn mistakes were done.
Yeah.
And I won't repeat it again. At the end, you come back stronger.
You come back stronger.
Right?
Well, I agree with everybody. I have a slightly different view with regards to
Controversy.
I don't know our beliefs. Okay, with regard. But what all you guys saying I do find that it is all connected. But just slightly different explanation to it. So with regards to test yep, 100%. What I think one of the limitations for us as human beings is what we think is a pass or a fail is limited to what we know in this world.
Yes.
Okay, but the whole idea of the test was never of a worldly test.
Yeah.
Although the test is in this dunya, in this life, but the pass or fail is what we get in the hereafter. Okay. So that's why so I think that's what brings a lot of anxiety as well, because when we go through the test, for example, having that cancer, okay, and we can argue the case, what did he do to get that cancer? Why did he losing a parent, losing a child, losing a limb? As a doctor, I see so many people why would they get this? Okay. And for us, the being the winner in that test or passing that test means for us what we believe or what we understand to be a positive. That means if it's an exam, you pass. If you get cancer, you're in remission. You don't die, basically. If you're pregnant for 9 months to have a completely normal baby, that's the win. Okay. And what we say as a fail will be like failing your exam, failing your marriage, losing a loved one, being a doctor, losing your patient. Okay. But the whole idea of this test is second. But when we have to understand, like, again, we are here in this world because of those tests. And also Allah wants the best for us. So how do we connect two and two together? It's like if we fail the exam or we fail the test, then that means like, how is Allah also wants the best for me? Like, why is He giving me pancreatic cancer?
Yeah.
He doesn't want the best for me. But then if you then following up to what you guys also understand, like part of accepting what the result was in this world was also the test.
Yes.
So when they also say, okay, maybe I was meant to go through this road,
Yeah.
because like what Hazim, was it Hazim? Hakim, because he went through that road, and now this is probably part of the journey. He had to go through that cancer to now becoming a very important individual, to now help other people, and now he's banking all that results for the hereafter.
Yeah.
And
Hakim should be here.
This is for people who find themselves in the tunnel and they don't even know why they're there in the first place. So.
And the anxiety is because when you're in the tunnel, you can only see, okay, it's like almost like a wave,
You're just-
a waves.
Yeah.
You see wall after left and right, left and right. But now if you cannot understand the whole game, if you want to call it that way, for lack of a better term, then you're actually seeing it from above.
Yes.
Then whatever you go pun, as long as you're confident at, one of the things is you have to do your best lah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
think that's
what
a
it
that's
is,
a
yes.
very good perspective. I think it is a perspective that it won't be easily accepted. Pasal apa? It requires life experiences to bring you to that particular point for you to be maturely accepting that, which is I would say even myself, I couldn't grasp the spiritual bit earlier on. It was more on the Western psychology dulu. But I think after a while, then barutah you reach to that spiritual and faith punya connection. So I think when it comes to the topic of ugama, topic of spirituality or faith, I think it's something that we need to be sensitive when we address it to the public or to the listeners, because not everyone is standing on the same ground.
That's very important.
There's a different perspective masing-masing sudah. So you want to bump up the, I don't know, prerequisite knowledge dulu, right? As in your peer punya support kan, get everyone up to speed in terms of beliefs, understanding. Then maybe for yang Islam yang agama Islam, then mungkin baru afterwards it would be easier for them to accept that part of faith, spirituality. So I mean that's my personal take on it lah. Maybe Zulfan
I would also add, okay, since the whole conversation in it is like steering to what we actually fascinatingly find in our support groups, and that is so far we've talked about the individual, right? And then it is true to definitely, it is a fact, spirituality is definitely important, but we would never use that as a way to, but it's okay, it's just temporary. That's actually becoming more invalidating especially for the men. But so when they're in that state, nothing is going to be sufficient for them to understand. That's why what is so powerful that I find in the support groups is because when you're with a therapist, right, they are trying to see your blind spots about. But there's also something that I find in support groups that's also powerful, and that is a lot of perspectives. Okay, you get so many perspectives, but because you actually start to learn from the test of other people. Okay, and in that in of itself is one of the tunnels. So then in that case, the whole paradigm of the tunnel becomes actually that these tunnels in it actually have lots of ways outside. Because when I was in the support group and I'm hearing these people and they actually have much more severe tests than I know, you start to wonder like, maybe there are things that I can be grateful for, not should, because if you tell someone, be grateful saja, it's not going to work. But when you actually stand right in front of the person yang been through all that, especially Hakim, and then the fact that he's smiling, he's joking apa semua, you just looking like what are areas of my life that I'm not appreciating, So I think something about that I find is that what we can do for the individual, they need a lot of references of success. they need a lot of people, especially men, yang been through what they've been through and also has gone out. Because it becomes, wait, how did you solve that issue
How
that
did you
I'm
go
going
through this?
And then that's actually what's happening now. We've had people, men, who are jobless, ada kids, dua kids.
Yeah.
Because of the support groups, they had networks, suddenly ia bekerja sudah.
Oh, that's great.
Because of that, we had a mother losing a 1-year-old baby, going to the support group. She had went through divorce. Suddenly now she's happily married with another man, and then ada lagi a new baby. Kan? It's because of that connection of macam when there is a reference of success, wait, you've been through what I've been through, but you're happy now. Like why? That's actually what I found to be the most effective for these individuals in it. They need to see stories of success. And then baru tah dorang berfikir.
Yeah.
And I think that would be the best. Anu lah.
Can I just quickly ask if you don't mind?
Yeah, go
for it.
Because this is something yang, so one of the...
Are we passing the 40 minutes?
Yeah, definitely. But I think a quick 5 minutes. It's been fascinating, guys.
Yeah. It's just because
Go ahead.
from the occupational health side in care,
Yeah.
we also been trying to push for initiatives that companies can do within their own structure, okay, to assist with mental health. Mental health punya access to services. Okay, of course, the traditional one is like for us, we also have our own psychologist.
Yeah.
Okay, Daniel, already official.
Okay. Got my card already.
But even that, so it's still an external thing. But internally within a company, not just acceptance that okay, we can send you to see a psychologist. We'll pay partly or fully paid for, but also within mental health first aider. I think again Australia has been one of the the
Leading.
country that's leading mental
That is,
health
yeah.
in terms
Definitely.
of
Research.
and
Training.
training, and even within the occupational health side, they've been actually pushing for new ways of battling and taking care of mental health issues in it. So mental health first aid is a concept that I think Brunei probably not many people are aware. It's like a first aider, but what they're trained within the company will be able to identify individuals going through maybe acute mental health symptoms. They might not be fully trained to give treatment like a first aider. Kalau ada luka, they can balut sikit, but obviously you have to send them to clinic or hospital. So, but within a company or organization, so there can be, and because they are coming from your peers. So it doesn't have to be the boss as the mental health first aider, and sometimes that becomes a barrier actually. Oh, you have to see the main office.
Oh,
That's true.
But it comes from the peer group. Okay.
PIS.
And yes, pretty much, pretty much. So that's a mental health first aider. But now I was thinking whether Jiwa Senja punya initiative, is there something that can be trained? Like you must have a moderator or someone trained. Can that be done within organizations?
Funny you say that. Yes, for both. Because all of my team, especially the core members, for us to be peer supporters, we cannot just be siapa-siapa saja. All of us need to be mental health first aid trained. Okay? So because our job is definitely not to solve any issues, kan? Ini diagnosis, right? Our job is simply to just give that first aid. And what is a first aid? It's not you're going to do surgery on that time, kan? It's so that you give it to the professionals. Ada yang de payah, they're just di sana. So yes, we actually do have. We are currently working with JPMC. Okay, JPMC Barutah now, they're trailblazing a new movement. That's why they actually have a chief people officer. Okay, a new position designed so that he is going to take care of the people punya well-being. Okay, and because of that, now JPMC is trying to incorporate support groups done by Jiwa. Okay,
okay.
all of my team, they are already mental health first aid trained. They have their own stories of success, and that's actually why our initiative, that is Jiwa Senja. That is Jiwa Senja. So that now, if an organization such as JPMC can implement that, that means almost any other organization can implement that. Okay? Soldiers can also benefit from this. It's team dynamics.
I
Okay?
can change my role now. I think I'm
Really?
chief people officer at this
Yeah,
point.
right? Say that, use that in your CV.
Yeah.
You have to change your office to the ground.
Oh yeah, I'll be in the middle. I'll be there for everybody. Gentlemen, it's been super fascinating. Again, I think we've gone over time for this one. I think we can go on for another 2 to 3 hours. But thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining in this important conversation about mental health. This message, I think, is quite simple. For the men and women in our lives, you have incredible power to make a difference. Although it may be difficult, encourage the men around you to open, to listen without judgment, to check in regularly, and remind them that vulnerability is human and not a flaw. If I can just go for a quick round of advice, okay? One liner, no long sentences, no
my.
paragraphs.
Okay.
That one liner that you can share to the audience out there, for the men out there, what is it that they can do for their mental health?
Well, I say, coming from a medical professional, try to seek help. Okay, the thing is, I know it is out there. We are trying to create that platform. Okay, you said one liner, right?
One
But seek,
liner, one
seek
liner.
help. Seek
Seek
help.
help.
Seek
Seek
help.
help.
That's it.
Okay.
Okay, for men, your strength is not defined by your muscles atau apa. It's defined by how many people you can support and how many people can support you. Enough said. That's it.
Perfect. Pg Azlan?
It's difficult. One liner.
Buy satu songkok from Shahindra.
Yeah. Yeah. Buy one songkok.
It's true.
You look better and feel better.
You look better and feel better. You know, if I was a non-believer of mental health, and now I'm a believer of mental health, I think that's just something that I don't know how to say. I just want to say that if that changes me, I think it can change for a lot of people, but for the better.
Yeah. Change can happen for you too.
Yeah.
Good work.
Right?
Bumper sticker there.
We need.
Ladies and gentlemen, healing isn't a solo journey. Every step you take to open, support a friend, challenge a stigma, you help create a community where everyone can be seen and heard. Until next time, let's keep breaking the silence at Asia Inc. Forum, of course. Together, let's not talk about change. Let's make it happen one conversation at a time.
Thank you.